Hello, 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 beautiful people. Apologies for being a little bit late. It was my bad. Sorry. Zach is coming on soon. How are you guys? Can you hear me? I hope you can all hear me because, yes, it's time to face the piper. I will need a hearing aid, unfortunately. So, mm, but for the time being, please let me know where you're watching from. We have so much to talk about today. I mean, ugh, it's it's brutal what we have to talk about today. So, how are you guys? I don't know if you're watching from the UK. Today is V Day, and it was amazing. And as usual, Prince Louis didn't disappoint. It's been such a beautiful day. It made me very nostalgic for the Queen. I think I posted one of her speeches on my page. So in the meantime, while we wait for Zach, here, don't forget to go to his channel, guys. This is his ex account, but I'm gonna show you his YouTube account. He's so close to 100,000, guys. We can help him. He's what 97. He's like 3,000 people away from us. From 100,000. So let's help him. Go, please subscribe to his channel. Let me post the link. Also, he has a tour coming, so I'm gonna go see him in Toronto because he's gonna be there in Toronto. So this is his link for all of you. Please go subscribe to him. Run to subscribe. Let's get him to 100K, guys. Come on, I know we can do it. He's amazing and he's a lot of fun. So please go subscribe to his channels. And yeah, he's on Instagram as well. I watch him all the time, as you can see. So please go subscribe. Um, I think he's doing here. Let me show you the live that he's doing. He's gonna be in person, so you can get to meet him in person. Um, here. There we go. You see he's doing grab your friends, wear your florals, and let's get activated. Activated is so cool this summer. I've got lots of surprises and special guests in store. Early bird pricing is now up, and so snag your spot right now. He's going to be in Toronto. So in Toronto, he's going to be on the 24th of July. So you guys better buy the tickets because the tickets are flying. Hello, Zach. Hello. How are you?
Hi, Paula. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm gonna get to finally meet you because I'm gonna go see you in Toronto. I've been stalking you, so you're
Oh,
gonna have one more stalker in Toronto, and I'm gonna bring some of my girlfriends. I'm gonna grab my florals. I'm even gonna wear a floral dress to go see you.
oh my God. Yes, please wear your florals.
I don't know if I should buy a Betty Boo. What's it called? She has Betty Boos or something like that.
Betty Booze and Betty Buzz.
Yeah, I saw you do the review for her alcohol thing. How
Yeah,
was it? Which one was it? That you didn't like very many of them, but you did like one. Which one was it?
there were it was like a whiskey ginger one that wasn't too bad.
That wasn't too bad, but how you tried like 3, right?
Yeah, I got a pack of 3. It was their bourbon pack. But the thing about bourbon is I feel like most people that like bourbon or whiskey or rye, like you typically drink them either on their own or like in a very
Yes.
like not overwhelming cocktail. So to me it was just so
Yeah.
weird that she had them in like these flavor like it was too much. Like her outfits on the set of It Ends With Us, it was just a little too much.
So it's just like her outfits. It's overwhelming.
It's yeah,
Oh,
trying too
that's
hard.
that's I mean, I don't know. I love a drink. I used to be called Errol Flynn, which is half Courvoisier and half Grand Marnier, and then you mix them. uh, and then you flame it, and then you add crushed ice. It's pure alcohol, but it's very good. It used to be called Aeroflame, but I don't know if it's still called that or if they've changed it. Because don't forget I'm 56, so things change from that. So I've been watching you, and I mean, guys, there's been so many developments, and I've been laughing so hard because you went in the Sean Atwood show. By the way, go subscribe to how many times do I have to say go subscribe to Zach? I don't know what to do anymore. And you have to go to Toronto because you're going to be there on the 27th of July. And I
I'm
will be
excited.
there with my florals and a bunch of girls
This
being
is the
very
first
drag.
time I'm going to Toronto. I've never been to Toronto before.
Oh, you're going to love that. You're going to love it. How many days are you going to be there?
I'm only there one day.
Oh, shit.
That week I'm back to back cities. So I don't
Yes.
have a ton of time to
Wow.
explore, but because I fly in the morning and then I fly out the next morning because I have to do, I think New York is the night after.
Oh, but New York is very close by.
Yeah.
It really is. It's really like half an hour flat. So you arrive in the morning. So you have the whole day to
Yeah,
do
I'll have
Toronto.
the day. Yeah, I'll have the whole
I'll
day to
send
at
you a
least
list. I'll send you a
explore a little
list.
bit. Yeah.
I'll send you a list. I'll send you a list. I have one of my girlfriends there. She owns a cosmetic company in Toronto. She is it's amazing. Her products are amazing. It's made in Toronto. She's a formal entrepreneur, a female founder, unlike Meghan Markle. Her company is well known worldwide. Her products, it's the skin maintenance. Her products are amazing. They're like ISO 9000. A couple of them have won awards worldwide.
Oh.
It's a family owned thing. Yes, and she lives in York. I shouldn't say where she lives, but yeah, she's amazing. Yes, I am 56.
Where did where did Harry and Meghan live when were they in Toronto?
Megan was in Toronto, and you know what? Guess what? Manuela, that's her name. She used to live across the street from Sarah Rafferty, who worked in Suits. She was the blonde, the one of the main characters. She was the main character, the assistant of the main lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
You know which one I'm talking about? You probably don't because
I
you don't watch that show. I don't.
didn't
Like
watch.
I had to watch it for a purpose. Sarah Rafferty is this tall blonde woman who was the secretary, the legal secretary for the main character, the redhead. Sorry, it's the redhead. But so she lived across the street. She was one of the main characters from her house. So whenever they were filming, she would see her all the time. The nanny dropping her off. She never saw Megan. She knows one of the assistants that worked with Megan, and she said that Megan was an absolute nightmare. She was nasty as hell.
I
Yes,
believe it.
and she knows Jessica Mulrooney too.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, juicy, juicy, isn't it?
Well,
Isn't
I
it?
hear. Wait, did you read Tom Bauer's book Revenge?
Of course I did. Yes, yes,
I
yes.
heard there. I hear there's a follow up coming out.
Yeah, apparently he is. Yeah, yeah, he is doing
I'm
a
ready.
follow-up book about that. But it's interesting. Did you watch her podcast with Jamie Kern Lima?
No,
Oh my God.
I saw clips of it. I just couldn't when I saw her without makeup. Not that she's ugly, but like I just
She
when
was
I
wearing
saw.
makeup. She was wearing makeup.
Oh, she was?
Of
Like, the real sheer well, my thing is it's like, when I saw that she wasn't wearing makeup, I'm like, "This is such a stunt. This is such a let me try to, like, seem relatable," and I'm just like, it felt too fake, you know?
No, but it was because she was wearing makeup. If you look, she has like white sheen here, and then she
Yeah.
has certain.
Very
It was like
sheer,
what
yeah.
very sheer nude makeup. It's like my skin is flawless. You can even see her freckles, and her face is
I bet
heavily.
you anything it's because what's coming next for As Ever is gonna be skincare.
Yeah, but she doesn't have a skincare line, and I have a nasty surprise for her
It
coming
might be
coming
part
her.
of what it might be part of the As Ever brand. She's gonna launch, like,
She
a
hasn't
skin oil.
registered. She hasn't been able to trademark it successfully yet. It's still pending. They haven't even posted it for opposition. You know that whenever you want to trademark something, the United States Patent and Trademark Office, they have to publish it for 30 days for opposition in the United States and then worldwide. They haven't even
Yeah.
published it in the USPTO Gazette for opposition, and she's gonna get it because there's As Ever, the Chinese company, then there's As Ever trademark for the photography, there's the As Ever company in New York, which Gwyneth Paltrow follows. She doesn't follow
Yeah.
As Ever Megan Official, but she follows As Ever New York City. You know, so but the thing is that I wanted to show you is because too bad you didn't watch it, Zach. Because okay, she goes and says this story. You know who Jasmine Bleeth is, right?
Mhm.
You know Baywatch, right? I mean, I know you're a young pup. You're like what, 25 or something like that. Something
I'm
this.
32.
Oh, shut up. Well, you're a pup. Yasmin Bleeth was a big person of Baywatch, you know?
Mhm.
She hasn't aged well. But during that time she was very beautiful. So Meghan Markle goes and tells the story to Jamie Kern Lima and says that when she was 13, she was working at Humphrey Yogurt, which is illegal. You can't work at 13 in California.
Yeah.
She was taking out the trash in the back alley. And she guess who was there in the trash in the back alley? Yasmin Bleeth at the height of her fame was in the trash in an alley, back alley of a yogurt place. And she met Megan, and Megan said, "Oh my God, that's Yasmin." And she went to Yasmin, and it was such a pivotal moment for her. It was
For what?
so.
For attracting trash?
No, no, no. She said it was so pivotal because she garnered the courage to go talk to her, right? And that she said, "Hello, I am Megan," and that Yasmin said, "Oh, sweetheart, hello." No, she said, "Hello," and that Yasmin said to her, "Hello, sweetheart. What is your name?" And she said that it was so important for her because that taught her. And then that she said, "I'm Yasmin." She introduced herself. Of course I knew who she was, she said, right? I don't know if I don't want to play that clip because I don't want to put people through hearing her voice. Because people always bitch at me when they listen to her voice. But she kind of says, like, it was such a pivotal moment in my life because it taught me. That's why, when people recognize me, I always ask them, "What is your name?" And I always say my name, right? Because it meant the world. So now, and she said that when she went up to her, the only thing that she could think of is that when she did that soft uh, commercial, that she loved her in that soft commercial, a deodorant commercial, right? Keep in
Okay.
mind, Meghan Markle was born in 1981, right? Uh, the soft commercial, and I am going to share it with you because I'm just that petty. Why not? I'm
I
just
love it.
that petty. Why not? Let's share it.
What's the most important thing you put on?
Well, it feels soft and smooth against my skin.
It's silk, right?
That came out in 1997.
Mhm.
That means that Meghan Markle would have been 16 years old, not 13 like she claimed.
Ah, that's right.
You see?
See,
Now,
she's always full of contradictions and
no,
lies. Like
it
she
gets
just
better. It gets better, Zach. I mean, it really does get better. I want to show you an interview she gave to you at Entertainment. Wait, what's this is just too juicy. I mean, I'm sorry, you guys. We have to here. This is Entertainment Weekly, and listen to Miss Rachel Meghan Markle.
Yasmin Bleeth. Oh my God! I wrote Yasmin Bleeth. That's the only one I ever wrote. And then I saw her. I used to work at a frozen yogurt store in LA. It was my first job. It was called Humphrey Yogurt. And I saw her in the parking lot. And what do I say to her? The most ridiculous thing you could say. Oh my God, I love you so. I loved you in that soft and dry commercial.
The most important thing I put on is soft, smooth, and feels just like silk.
She just looked at me very blankly, like, okay, thank you. And I walked very meekly back into Humphrey.
So she didn't meet her in the alley. She met her at the parking lot, and apparently Jasmine did not even ask her name. She just gave her a blank stare, and she walked back into Humphrey Yogurt, all embarrassed. I don't know if it's worth it for you to listen to what this woman said because it's actually she goes into very elaborated stories that are so insane. I gotta ask you, Zach, do you think she doesn't know that internet is forever?
I don't know what goes on in her head, to be honest with you, because she like just has complete disregard for I mean, and listen, sometimes there are stories that we have from 10 whatever years ago, and you're not gonna remember every detail correctly, but like she just always has a habit of twisting the story to meet whatever her current objective is, that it's like it's hard to take anything that she says at face value because it never seems to check out. And then she forgets that she tells all these stories so publicly, and people are going to fact check her and people are going to compare her stories, and it's like, when does she learn her lesson?
Okay, I gotta show it to you. I'm sorry. I'm gonna put you guys. I gotta give you a trigger warning. You're gonna hear her voice. You have to. I'm sorry.
Let's
It's
do it.
gotta go. I gotta go,
Play it.
dude.
I was 13. My first job was at a frozen yogurt place called Humphrey Yogurt. Mm-hmm. Great name. And that was in the 90s. So what were the big shows and things that were on then? Baywatch.
Nice.
And so it was like Carmen Electra, Jenny, like all these people, Yasmin Bleeth. And I was taking the trash out from my job and I see Yasmin Bleeth. And I cannot believe I'm seeing Yasmin Bleeth and I'm holding this bag of trash. And I was like, the courage that it took for me to go up to her.
Yeah.
And I went up to her and I said, hi, I love you in the soft and dry deodorant commercial. That's all that could come out of my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And she was so gracious. This was such a pivotal moment for me because I never knew I was going to become an actor or someone that people would go up to.
Yeah.
But this moment was so influential for me because she turned around and she goes, hi, sweetheart, what's your name?
Mm.
First thing I learned. I was like, I'm Meghan. And that moment, I was like, she cares to know what my name is.
Mm.
And then she's like, hi, I'm Yasmin. I know who she is, but she introduced herself. All those years later, no one teaches you how to be an actor once the show becomes successful.
Yeah.
No one teaches you what to do when people recognize you.
Yeah.
That moment with Yasmin Bleeth taught me how important it was for someone to make me feel seen.
It's so funny because if you look at Jamie, she's playing with her hair. She's doing this, which is usually what people do when they're uncomfortable. And I think as a podcast host who's interviewed a number of different, people and celebrities and whatnot, I know what's going on in Jamie's head. Just watching her body language, in my mind, I can see she's so uncomfortable because she knows that this is such an unrelatable story. Because Meghan's like taking, not for, like being, I think she thinks she's being like humble in this moment of like, this is how I learned how to be famous. But like the whole premise of her story is like, this is how I learned how to be famous. When it's like, nobody even, I don't know how many people even still like Meghan Markle that much at this point. But it's just, this just goes to show you how out of touch she is, especially as she's trying to sit there in her like humble outfit with no makeup and her hair is just really simple, which I don't know. Me looking at Jamie and looking at how pretty Jamie looks, and Jamie has makeup on and has her hair done. To me, it's disrespectful when you show up at somebody's studio to do an interview and they've made time out to like let this be your first exclusive podcast interview, and you can't even, put on a little something, a little brow and a little powder to balance out your skin. Like, just make it look like, I know she's trying to make it seem like she's super down to earth, but it's like you're in a studio, you're on a big podcast, and like this person's taking their time out for this to be your first official podcast interview. That to me, it's just a little disrespectful when you show up without any makeup on and you're kind of just like, trying to look real homely.
Yeah, well, any heavy makeup on because she is wearing
Yeah.
makeup, especially at some point when she's like that. You can see here in the lash, when she's doing like that, she has to clean it because she's wearing whatever. But to me, did you see how different stories there are? First, she was taking the trash, and unfortunately for Meghan Markle, that ad came out in 1997, so she would have been 16, not 13.
Yeah.
And her father was wealthy. Well, I mean, she was going to private school. You went to the Little Red Riding Hood where Scarlett Johansson went, and that cost about $18,000 back then, almost 40 years ago.
Yeah.
So, and her father paid for absolutely everything. And then she went to other private schools. And yes. What are you waiting for? Go subscribe to Zack. And yes, and you got to buy the tickets, guys. You got to buy the tickets because I'm going to be in Toronto to meet him. I can't wait to meet you. But
Let's go to Toronto. We're gonna hang out. Paula and I are gonna take shots.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, the thing is though, I am just so looking forward to it. It's going to be so much fun. Let me copy the link here so people can get the link so you can go buy it because you're going. Well, how many cities are you going to be doing, Zach?
I think we're doing 8 cities this summer.
Wow.
And it's all back to back. Yeah. I think we do Dallas, Phoenix, Philly, Toronto, New York, Chicago, Seattle, Los Angeles.
Let's look at it here because I have it here.
It's gonna be
It
fun.
says,
We're gonna hang out. We're gonna
yeah,
spill all the royalty. We're gonna spill all the Blake and Baldoni tea.
you're gonna be in. Okay, you're gonna be in July 11th in Dallas, and then July 13th in Phoenix, 23rd Philadelphia, and then Toronto 24th. It's 24th. What was I thinking? Oh, it's Chicago. You're gonna be in the 26th. It's the 24th of July. I have to check my tickets. And you're gonna be at Annabelle's. Oh, that's pretty cool.
I've never been
S
to Annabelle's. Is it a
yes,
cool place?
it is a cool place. It is a cool place. I'm gonna take Manuela and all the other girls to go with me. So yes, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Annabelle's is a cool place. It is a cool place. Yeah, it's a good spot. So now that you've seen this woman is caught lying,
Yeah.
why do you think nobody's calling her out? I gotta ask you because now you know that she's lied because she was born in 1981 and Jasmine's Bleeth thing didn't come out until 1997, sorry. So she would have been 16, not 13. Her
Yeah.
father's on record saying she's never worked because he'd always support her, especially at 13. It's illegal in California to hire an under at 13.
That's the thing is she doesn't even think these things through. Like they're so easy to fact check and but like even at 13, like yeah, anybody in California knows like you can't I think when you're 15 you can get a work permit and then you're allowed to work, but that's at 15. And again, the timeline just shows that she was 16. There's like a big difference between 13 and 16. I don't know. She
It
lives in
is.
her own fantasy land.
You want to come? Oh well, then come. Just join in Toronto on 24th at Annabelle's. We're gonna be there.
Mhm.
It's gonna be so cool. You know that Corey Vitiello, her ex, the guy that she was engaged to prior to Harry, he's very near Annabelle's. He has Flock, his restaurant, and he
Um,
sells roasted chicken. He has the most amazing salads, organic salads with couscous, but it's really really good. But that yeah, so you're gonna be around that crowd. That is amazing. So we got it at that, and that's just one of the things. What did you make? Did you watch Harry's interview when he lost the court case by any chance?
I didn't watch the interview. I saw some of the headlines. I talked about it this morning
Mhm.
on my show. But I did not actually watch the interview because I don't know. We already suffered through like Spare, and we suffered through their original Meghan and Harry Netflix documentary. I'm like, what? I saw that the biggest thing that came out of it though is that he wants to make amends with his dad and his brother.
Yeah, but he never apologized, and he
Yeah,
accused the
no.
king of wanting to kill him.
It's
And
just
then he
it's insane to me that he even like the way you make amends with people is by owning up to the fact that you screwed up and you tarnished your relationship with your family because you trashed them. You trashed Catherine, you trashed William, you trashed the king, you trashed Camilla. You know, you were disrespectful to Queen Elizabeth. That it's like they like what and what they just should accept you back with open arms, you know, when your wife literally said that they're racist for asking, you know, if your baby's going to have a red afro. Like it's so preposterous to me the audacity of these two.
yeah, but you know the thing is, he almost accused the king almost of wanting him dead too because he said that
Yeah.
they asked him. They asked him, do you want your father to intervene? Have you asked your father to intervene? And then he goes, well, it would be great if it stay out of the way because and let the experts do the thing. So basically, he's claiming that the king is blocking him getting security, and it's like his status. He doesn't understand that his status has changed.
Yeah,
You know,
like
he
what
doesn't. He's not. He's like. He's not a working royal. You know, if you're a CEO for a company and you quit, you don't get to use the company jet anymore.
yeah.
I
They
mean,
willingly stepped down. It's not like they were ostracized from the family. They chose to step down, they chose to leave, and they chose to trash the royal family on their way out. So yeah, there's no incentive for them at this point.
Diane Ramos. I don't know if I should take that as an offense or what. Please remember, it was much easier to get away with being dishonest about your age before 1990.
That's true. The internet came, and once the internet came, it
Oh my God, that is brutal, but that is true. I am so glad the internet wasn't around when I was growing up because I don't know. There's so many things that would come out. But no, so now we got to talk T about what's going on because I've been watching what's happening. Apparently, Tay Tay is going to be deposed.
Mm-hmm. So subpoenas have gone out. Depositions are now being scheduled. We're just approaching the discovery phase. Like first we saw Marvel has already responded, and they've made it clear to the judge that they don't want to turn over documents related to Deadpool and Wolverine because they feel like they're trying to flex their third party privacy protections and their marketing plans, and they are saying that this is all confidential for them. But I I don't know.
Does
It's
it have
not.
a chance though? Because they can't have to show because clearly there was a character that was clearly based. I mean, you know what? Because I was a Deadpool die hard, and then I remember seeing that character. It didn't make any sense. I remember thinking, why is he acting like that? Because even in that reality, because I watched that and I was like, it didn't make any sense. It was kind of like out of character for the movie kind of thing,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know?
it just so the thing is, Ryan Reynolds, in his own motion to dismiss filing, basically admitted that, yeah, they did troll Justin Baldoni with this nice pull character. He didn't deny it, and he accused Justin Baldoni of, just having hurt feelings, is what they claimed the lawsuit against Ryan Reynolds was. It was just hurt feelings. So Reynolds has essentially at this point admitted to doing this, admitted to trolling Justin Baldoni in this film, which Marvel and Disney produced. So they should have to turn this over because it's going to show how much this couple was so against Justin Baldoni and tried to. I mean, I don't know what I mean. It just seems like they're big Hollywood bullies that want to flex their power. Even in the most recent her new movie, Another Simple Favor, that just came out over the weekend, and in it, there's a line where she says that she makes a joke about how she's gonna sue Anna Kendrick's character into oblivion. She's like, and if you don't come to my wedding, I'm gonna sue you into oblivion. Which is exactly what Justin Baldoni's attorney said. So they're still continuing to troll Justin and his team.
So who else has been deposed? Are we going to get to see the depositions or not?
So we'll see. So as we know, Blake at the beginning was fighting for this, special protection, this attorney's eyes only protection, and her legal team, I would imagine, is going to fight to have that protection cover as much of the evidence as they can to prevent it from getting out publicly. Now, how far they're going to get with that, we don't know, because ultimately the judge is going to have to determine, what's attorney's eyes only and what's not. But so the subpoenas have gone out. So Taylor Swift has gotten a subpoena, presumably for her text messages with Blake. So I'm sure, at some point she'll have to turn over some of her messages, possibly some emails if there was any email correspondence. Her phone records, I imagine, are going to become important in all of this. And, what her communication was with Blake and Ryan and how it related to It Ends With Us. There have been rumors that Taylor Swift had the original composer for It Ends With Us fired in order for them to use her song, My Tears Ricochet, which was the anthem for the film. So we'll see. And then depositions will be happening later this summer. And I'm hearing that they're supposed to be video depositions. I would imagine Blake's team is going to fight very hard to keep those depositions under lock and key. I'm
I'm
sure
salivating.
some in part will be leaked online at some point. Regardless, I'm pretty sure come trial, we're going to definitely see those depositions played for the jury.
Well, I think they will have to depose the guy. What's the name of the Gigi Hadid's
Oh,
boy?
Bradley Cooper. Yep. Bradley
Cooper.
Cooper is going to be dragged
Exactly.
into this. Yeah. So it's going to be Bradley Cooper, possibly even Gigi Hadid, because she was at the Deadpool and Wolverine premiere with Blake
Yeah.
Lively, where she talks about how she had seen an early cut of It Ends With Us, and it's so good, and it's a great movie. And so Gigi was able to watch the film before Justin Baldoni was even able to see the film.
This is
So
unbelievable. This is insane, you know. And I heard that Travis Kelsey stopped following Ryan Reynolds.
probably because Taylor got her subpoena. And so the Daily Mail also reported that Travis Kelsey may also be getting subpoenaed as well. Uncertain what, or possibly deposed. It's uncertain what his involvement is. But I mean, if there's something that involves him too, that's just going to add an even yummier layer to everything.
Yeah, I mean, because what if Taylor Swift involved in that thing and he saw the movie and I'm sure he was around listening to comments and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So what is new legally? What has I mean, we know that how they got the shady subpoena. What has
Yeah.
happened there?
So the Van Zandt lawsuit, which for people that aren't familiar, Blake Lively had a shell company, essentially, is what it appears to have been, allegedly, a shell company that they used to file this, as has been described by many attorneys online, a sham lawsuit against not necessarily Justin Baldoni, but they filed a lawsuit, which is crazy that this is even possible that people can do this. File a lawsuit, don't disclose what the damages are, don't necessarily disclose any of the allegations against them. They just say, we were damaged by 10 people and we don't know who these 10 people are, but we're going to file this lawsuit and let the court system know there are 10 Jane and John Does that we're suing. And so they filed this lawsuit under the company name Van Zandt so that it protected people from seeing that this was attached to Blake Lively, so that her name wasn't on the lawsuit. And so they filed this lawsuit in order to get a subpoena, use that subpoena to get Justin Baldoni's text messages without him even knowing. And they never notified Justin Baldoni because he wasn't named in this lawsuit. It was just these 10 John Does and Jane Does. So, it was done in such a sneaky and shady way that they were able to obtain his text messages in a technically legal way, but it was just a very
I was
improper
going to
way, in
ask
my
you
opinion.
that. Yeah, that may be unethical, but it's still legal, right?
Yes. And
But
that's been my argument. Just because something is legal doesn't necessarily make it ethical. And
yeah.
so as this gets dragged out, it's going to be put before a judge. It's going to be put before a jury once we get to the trial. And I don't think that this looks good in front of a jury. I think when they see what Blake and her team have been doing, and then not only that, but this sham lawsuit that they filed to obtain the text messages, they ended up dropping right before the New York Times article came out. So it really does seem like they used the sham lawsuit in a legal way, but they abused the legal process, in my opinion. They abused the legal process in order to get his messages. And so we're going to see how that all turns out, because now it's going to come a question of, well, he's entitled to privacy with his text messages, and his former publicist, who's the one that was subpoenaed and turned that over, there's likely some breach of contract there for her, because you can't just have a client and then leak all of their personal text messages. It's going to bring a lot of things into question at this point.
Guys, I'm not seeing the numbers rise on SAC, and I have quite a few of you here watching. So you better go subscribe to SAC. The link I'm showing you the link. It's right there. So just go subscribe to SAC because he's yummy.
We're
So
so close. We're so
we're so
close to
close.
100.
Only 3,000. We can do it, guys. We can do it. We can get him there. But so this is. I heard, because I talked to somebody about it, that the lawyer who signed off, because they needed to use a lawyer for this, that if the lawyer knew that they only wanted to launch a sham or scam lawsuit in order to get legal documents, that is illegal and the person can be disbarred, because then they knew that it was a fake lawsuit and they're not supposed to do that.
Yeah. I mean, so the argument that Lively's team is making is, it's like, well, we didn't know everyone that was involved, so that's why we didn't name anybody in the lawsuit. But it's
But
like,
they knew
well, if you
Justin
didn't.
Baldoni. They knew Justin Baldoni. They knew his
Well,
assistant or the
obviously, yeah, they
publicist.
knew. Yeah, that was my point. Is it's like, you knew Baldoni was a part of this because you wanted his text messages. So you knew who you were going after. You maybe didn't know all of the players. So what typically happens, and when you do have like a Jane Doe or a John Doe lawsuit like this, where you don't have all all of the defendants named, it's usually because you know that there are some key players and some additional people that helped them, but you typically don't always know who those additional people are. So you'll have, in this case, it should have been Justin Baldoni and Jamie Heath and Jane Doe and John Doe, whatever, right? Where they were
And he's
listed, but then they were
associate
probably,
too. He's associate too. He has
yeah.
doesn't he have like a co-director or somebody who was with him as well?
Yeah, Jamie Heath, Steve Sorowitz, his
Yes.
publicist, Jennifer Abel, his
Yeah.
Melissa Nathan, who's his crisis PR manager. I mean, even Stephanie Jones, who was his
I was
former
gonna
publicist that
say, I
turned
was
over all
gonna
the text messages.
say, because
Yeah, none
apparently
of
she
them were
had
named in this. And I think nobody was named in this lawsuit so that it would go undetected and nobody would ever know about it.
yeah,
But
because then if
then
they
the
had been
Daily
notified,
Mail,
if they had been named, I just ask you something because I know
yeah,
people who ask me this a lot. If she had named them, would they then have been notified in order
mhm.
to fight it off?
They would have had, well, and that's the other thing is typically when there is a subpoena, and as we're seeing right now with Marvel and with Taylor Swift, the subpoenas have been issued and they're trying to block that. You know, they're trying to keep the information from coming out. Their lawyers are doing their job by saying, no, we don't want to turn this over for X, Y, and Z. So Stephanie Jones, who is Baldoni's former publicist that turned over these text messages, didn't have to turn them over. But the second she got her subpoena, she said, "Here you go, here's everything," which is improper. Like you typically have to notify the people that are being dragged into this. So if they have any objections, they can file those objections and protect their privacy. But in this case, that wasn't done.
But there's got to be some sort of repercussions for that.
There
I
will
am
be. We'll
sure.
have to
I
see
am
what those
sure the lawyer,
repercussions are.
at least for the lawyer, at least for the
Well,
lawyer,
at the
because
bare minimum, I mean, it looks like Stephanie Jones, you know, everyone's kind of assuming, or we're all coming to the same conclusion that I think she may have spearheaded this. And maybe she's the one that came to Blake Lively's team and said, listen, I have all these messages and this is what Justin did to you. Like she may have been the one that tipped Blake off and convinced her of this smear campaign. But the fact that she, you know, did this subpoena, didn't notify any of the people, didn't notify Jennifer Abel, didn't notify Justin Baldoni. Like, well, the other thing too is the Stephanie Jones had access to these text messages because they
yeah.
were on this iPhone that was technically a company phone. So Justin Baldoni's publicist used to work for Stephanie Jones. And Stephanie Jones said, here's a phone, an iPhone that you can use for work. But she was also, Jennifer Abel said, okay, I'll take this work phone, but I'm going to use my personal phone number, which is standard. You know, typically you're allowed to keep, you can either have a secondary line that's designated just to work and then you have two phones, or you can just do it on one if your company's cool with that. And in this case, Jones Work PR was okay with that. So the issue is, even though Jones Work was technically the owner of the physical phone, they weren't the owner of the phone number, which belonged to Jennifer Abel. So she had a lot of private messages with her doctors, with her husband, things that were not company or that should not have been company property that's now going to have to be brought before a judge to determine, is this company property or is this not? And so there's going to be a lot of, I mean, this is really going to be a record setting case in terms of how the press gets away with things, in terms of how, you know, the Me Too laws are probably going to change as a result of this, the same way Blake's trying to exploit them for her own benefit right now. Like, this is really going to change a lot of legislation, I believe, at the end, because we're going to see, you know, how people get away with certain things or not.
Yeah, I mean, I have one of my friends is a lawyer, and she said that as a lawyer, you cannot do that. If you know if a
Yeah.
scam, what they call a sham lawsuit, and it's used to get private information, because one of the things that California is actually very renowned for is privacy, because they're a bunch of criminals, so they don't want their stuff exposed, you know. So they
Yeah.
have very strict privacy laws around it. So I
Yeah.
was very, very surprised about it. It's kind of how can you imagine? I remember that what's Abel, the girl that they wouldn't give her phone back. They even
Jennifer
sent her
Abel. Yeah.
to the phone company, and she waited for 4 hours for them just to authorize the use so they can transfer over the number, just her personal number,
Yeah.
because you know you have double authentication for your bank and all your details. She talked about it a lot. Where do you see this is going to go? I mean, I don't see any settlement. I don't think so.
No, not at this point. I mean, If they were gonna settle, they would have settled by now, because I think the most compelling piece would be to settle so that their famous friends don't get dragged into it, and at this point, we're seeing them all get dragged in, subpoenas have gone out, depositions are now in the process of being scheduled, that there was no at this point, there's no avoiding it, they have to go all the way.
And did you see, well, I'm sure you did see because I saw you that you commented on it, Blake Lively, about the Time 100
Yeah,
speech with her mom. I mean,
ridiculous.
this woman said that when she was giving the interviews promoting the movie, that she'd never been anywhere near anybody who that she couldn't connect to people like that because she's never been around anybody like that. I mean, is she
Yeah.
like another Meghan Markle? Does she not realize that the interview she's done, and then she comes and she brings branding her mom, who, by the way, her mom is sus. Her mom is very sus. Have you done
I've
a deep dive
heard.
on her mom?
I've heard.
You should go for a deep dive on her mom because you will have a lot of content there. But her mom, I mean, to lend herself for that, and then it's like
It's crazy.
my mom, and and it's like, why wasn't she talking about this when she was promoting the movie?
Yeah.
Did you believe her, or do you think that she got any people on her side when with
Well,
that speech?
here's the thing that Blake Lively does really well, is she doesn't outwardly say things, but she alludes to things that leads people to come to certain conclusions. So even if you listen to what she said about her mom,
She's like,
she
Megan.
said that there was a coworker that tried to, end her mom, end her life, and that, and that's kind of all that she really, and she said that it was one of the worst crimes you can commit against a woman. And but like she doesn't explicitly say what happened to her mom, and so people are assuming they're leading, oh well, she must have been assaulted in some way, she must have been, you know that something really bad must have happened to her mom. But I mean, even from what I've heard about the story related to the coworker, I believe the coworker was a female coworker that tried to unalive her. And again, I don't know all we don't know all the details, but it's because Blake likes to leave similar to Meghan Markle. They like to give you little
They're
bits
very
to like
vague.
lead
They're
you
very
to
vague.
believe. Yeah, very intentionally vague so that they can lead you they can lead you in a direction. So then you just, because even like with Meghan Markle, when she tried to call the royal family racist, and then
Racist.
later on everybody was like, well, she never actually said that the royal family was racist. And it's like, well, no, but she alluded to it by saying that they were asking about her baby's skin tone color, and by making a remark about the baby having a red afro and all of these things. So it's like they were alluding to it without actually explicitly
Sorry, that's
saying
funny.
it. And
But
that's what's even worse, is when people do stuff like that.
it's called plausible deniability. I was in Norway doing my videos, and I said that what Oprah and Megan, because Oprah was also a bit shady, because Oprah was going, so are you saying that they were being racist? And Megan goes, well, if that is your assumption, that would be a safe one. Like they were both playing
Yeah.
volleyball with, to avoid both being sued and stuff like that. And then Harry goes on the Tom Bradby show and he says, well, because Tom Bradby said, well, you just call your family racist. And he goes, when? Tell me, when did Megan call him racist? And this is what I said is plausible deniability. They're very vague. And they let you fill in the blanks with
Yeah.
whatever your imagination would let you fill in. But do you think there's anything positive? Do you think that her image has improved since that time on? Because Megan Kelly roasted her on the
Good.
cover.
And Megyn Kelly deserved to roast her.
I
Um,
was laughing
I
as she was talking there. I didn't think she was going to be that blunt.
I think the people that were aloof to the lawsuit details, that already didn't have a strong opinion about Blake one way or the other, I don't think that this necessarily won them over. I think overwhelmingly majority of the public does not like Blake Lively, and does not, based off of what we know about her in this lawsuit so far. So I don't think she's winning over anybody new, to be honest.
You don't think so?
No, I
And,
don't think anybody's falling for it. Aside from the people that were already willing to give her enough grace to kind of, follow wherever she was leading.
and did you see the thing with Anna Kendrick? I mean, there's no love lust there, is there?
I don't think they like each other. I think they're plain nice because they have to. They have a job to do. They have a movie to sell, and they want to do their absolute best to sell that movie.
I
But I
mean, but
think I think Anna Kendrick at this point is over the movie. She's over the promote. Like she just wants to be done and to move on.
yeah. And how's the movie? Have you seen it?
I saw the movie. I Here's the thing, and I know that this is probably a not popular opinion, but I think had Blake not launched this lawsuit and
It would
this
be a good
movie
movie.
came out, I think people would have liked Blake. They would have been like, "Wow, this is a really crazy campy movie," but I don't think she would have gotten hated for this movie the way she's being hated for it now. I think a lot of the hate for the movie is come from their hatred towards Blake herself because of what she's done with this lawsuit. That I think if she was worried about her image from the bad PR that she was getting from It Ends With Us, had she just laid low for these last several months and then came out with another simple favor, I think people would have forgotten about It Ends With Us. They would have forgotten all the bad stories about her and they would have just moved on, and they would have been fine to move on with it and wouldn't be as critical with the movie as they are.
This is one of the things that has always been bothering me, Zach, is because from what we know now, they were planning this for quite some time,
Yeah.
for quite a few months, right? Why? Why? I mean, why just let it go? I don't buy that they wanted to buy the second movie and that's why. I really don't buy that because they didn't even know how successful the movie was going to be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So why? Why not let it go or talk? They why not make nice with Justin Baldoni so there'd be a sequel and they'd be together in it and co-partner or whatever.
Well,
Why
the
do
thing is,
that?
my understanding is the sequel doesn't involve much of Baldoni's character. The sequel focuses because at the end of It Ends With Us, Blake Lively's character Lily has a baby and she breaks up with Ryle, who is Justin Baldoni's character. So my understanding is the second movie is more focused on Blake's character and the baby and raising the baby and kind of like the next chapter of their lives. I think there is some sort of Ryle in that's in the second book, but the story doesn't revolve around him necessarily. So it just, uh, I don't know if
It's
they
not
wanted the rights to the second movie. I mean, obviously, I've heard, theories that people look at or that they looked at like Reese Witherspoon and her success because she buys a lot of books and like adapts them into TV series or films. And she's become really successful with that because there's obviously that book reading club, that group of
Mhm.
people that will go watch the movies that are fans of the books. So I don't know if they were trying to follow that same model or what their agenda was. I think part of it really was just ego. I think they clashed with Baldoni and they didn't really like him. And they probably didn't want to work on another film with him. And this was part of their way of burying him so that he didn't have an opportunity to produce a sequel. And I also just think that, Stephanie Jones, when she came to Blake's team, if she came to Blake's team and convinced them of some sort of alleged smear campaign, I think that really hurt their ego to the point where they were so blinded that they wanted to seek vengeance against him.
You know what? Do you think there was some hanky panky? Because from what I read the messages, there was some kind of cordial relationship between Ryan Reynolds and what's his name, Justin Baldoni. But something changed when he came back from when the strike happened. Do you think that he caught? Because I mean that no teeth remark, and you make quite a few things about that. She should be
Yeah.
called Blake Lively, no teeth, Blake no teeth Lively.
Yeah.
Because I mean she was clearly flirting with the guy, and let's not
Yeah.
forget that they both have a reputation for cheating.
Yep. And so I think Ryan Reynolds knew his wife has a reputation. And I mean, there are a number of alleged affairs that have been and linked back to Blake Lively from Ben Affleck, Ryan Reynolds. Um, she was also, I mean, I think Leonardo DiCaprio was single when they were dating, but like there are a number of scandals that she's been enthralled with other male co-stars that it wouldn't be a far stretch to believe that Ryan Reynolds maybe got suspicious and he wanted to make sure that he buried Justin Baldoni for even,
Jealousy.
attracting his wife.
This is what Nicole Campa a lot of people have said this. I really believe he turned her down and she was pissed off.
Yeah.
And then you have Victor Manchi also. They all believe that. I really do believe that because it just sounds so so spiteful, so angry, so
Yeah.
much hatred. It's like I'm gonna
Yeah.
end this guy, and it's like Ryan, and you saw Ryan at the time 100, right?
Yep.
He didn't really want to pose with her at the red carpet. Oh, that was so uncomfortable to watch. I was just like, no, dude, just don't go back into the carpet, But, and I know that, where do you stand? Do you think he's that evil? Because Candace Owens really thinks he's the mastermind behind all of this. I have a different, complete take on that. I really think that this is all, what's him call it, Blake Lively. Blake Lively got caught cheating. She denied it. She blamed it on the guy, and she's gonna go to her grave denying it. I know,
Yeah.
because I don't know if you have friends like that cheat on their girlfriends or boyfriends, and they get caught. They get caught in bed with the
Yeah.
boyfriend or girlfriend, and they still say no, they're just friends, and they will never admit to it, especially because it will be costly.
Yeah. I mean, I've often thought that Blake probably developed feelings for Baldoni. He rejected her advances. Ryan Reynolds found out about it, or he at least suspected something. And I think Blake was like, no, it's all him. He's the one that's hitting on me. And he's such a creep. And he's telling me all these things. And and I'm sure Ryan was like, wait, isn't he your director? Isn't he your boss? Like, he's not supposed to be talking to you like that. And Blake's like, I don't know. He's the one that's into me. So I think she kind of threw, the responsibility back onto Baldoni, made it seem like he was pursuing her rather than it being the other way around. And I think Ryan wanted to just believe that narrative. So he,
Yeah.
definitely came after Baldoni for coming after his wife. But I don't think that that's the truth. I think Blake misrepresented, and we've seen her do this a number of times now. I think she misrepresented things, probably to appease her husband, so that he didn't believe that it was possible that she caught feelings for somebody else.
And I think it got out of hand. By the time it got out of hand, it was too
Yeah.
late to walk
It's
it
too late.
back.
And at this point, it's too late. But I
Okay.
think this is why we're seeing them so overexposed right now, doing SNL and doing Time 100 and all of that stuff, because they have no other choice but to show that they're
And
tough,
the
they're strong,
donut,
they're
and
gonna
the
be
donut
fine.
place, and the donut thing, and the truck thing, and
Yeah.
I
So I
mean,
think they're just doing all of that so that they could show people, like, we're fine, everything's okay, we're good.
I mean, I don't think there's gonna be a settlement in this lawsuit. Is she forced to take the stand? Because this is a civil lawsuit, right?
It is a civil lawsuit. I don't think she's forced to take the stand on her side, but I'm pretty sure, I mean, her deposition's gonna be really important when it comes to, trial.
Oh, they don't
Baldoni
have
being
to. They don't have to. But Johnny Depp, he and Amber Heard, they were both on stand. Is it because they wanted to?
Yeah, I think that was Blake will be deposed, and so she will have to sit for a deposition, and I hear the depositions can go up to 7 hours. So
I do.
well, because you have to realize, like, it's gonna be one side and then the other side and then the cross. So it's gonna be long, but so those depositions are gonna be helpful. So whether she chooses to take the stand at trial or not, that deposition is going to be important and will likely be played in part for the jury.
Especially if it contradicts some of this stuff, because
Yeah.
they have to present evidence, right? They have to present evidence. At some point, they have to present evidence. I know that when it's a criminal case, you're not compelled to you cannot testify it against yourself. But I don't know how it is in civil cases in the US, to be honest. So I don't know if they have to be called. I really don't know if they have an option. But it's gonna be something very interesting for me anyways to watch. And before we go, because it's almost 1 hour and guys, please go subscribe to Zach. I don't know what are you waiting for. By the way, go. He's got the tour. I'm gonna be in Toronto with him. Well, not with him. I'm gonna go watch him. I'm gonna go stalk him. I'm probably gonna be, trying to not sexually harass him too much, because he's so gorgeous. And me and my girlfriends are gonna be there. So any of the dates, please buy the tickets. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And let's get Zach to 100K, guys. I know we can
Yeah.
do it. We can do it. We're so close.
Just
You're only
do
like
it.
less than 3,000. It's
So close.
nothing. Guys, come on. And you provide such amazing content. I just wanted to let you know, if you know anything, if you've heard anything about, there's this famous chef
Mhm.
who went in an interview on the UK, and he was asked to comment on the Meghan Markle as ever with Love Meghan. He is a Michelin star chef. He's cooked for royalty. I mean, he's
Mhm.
proper, and he has a show with a competing network, right? And he was asked, and he said, "Well, I was asked to go and consult on a show that would be very divisive. I kind of knew it was, and I didn't want to be involved in it because I knew it would be of the backlash, and also because if it was this person, I know that if she might turn it around or not present it in the way that it should be, and then it would look bad on me, you know. So I didn't think it was worth it." And then they asked him, "And did you watch it?" And he goes, "Yeah, it's terrible. She should go back to acting." So he says that he got a legal letter from Netflix
Hmm.
threatening him for giving his honest opinion, which is insane. Because can you imagine if Netflix is sending letters to all the anybody criticizing their shows?
It's crazy.
So now apparently it was Meghan Markle who sent the letter, because Netflix has come out and said, "Hey, buddy, if you got a legal letter, it wasn't from us."
Wow.
And apparently, so she must have faked the letter, because Megan, she got Piers Morgan fired. She got Sharon Osbourne fired.
Yeah.
I mean, this woman, you cannot criticize her at all. And I wonder, because this is such a common theme with women like Amber Heard, like Jada Pinkett Smith. That's a nightmare. Ooh, that woman. Are those still together?
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically, sure.
Okay, so
Nobody understands their dynamic.
Jada, Amber, and Blake Lively and Meghan Markle. I mean, it's like a pattern of behavior in Hollywood for these women, and nobody calls them out. This woman, the CEO of the Time 100, is like, oh, Blake is a storyteller. She tells stories, all right, but
Mhm.
it was it's brutal. So you don't think? Well, I really wish they would let us see the depositions. 'Cause I mean, that I think that would be highly unfair to the public, because they made it so public themselves.
They wanted it to be public. They leaked it in the New York Times. Like they wanted, or
Oh, what happened with the New York Times? Are
they
they?
haven't been dismissed yet. We'll have
Oh,
to see. Everyone's trying to get dismissed from the lawsuit. The judge hasn't made any official decisions yet. The New York Times could still
and
be
Ryan,
dragged.
and Ryan Reynolds wanted to be dismissed as well, and then
Yeah, they all
Stephanie.
filed a motion to dismiss. The judge hasn't ruled on any of those motions yet. Discovery's moving forward, so at least they're starting to dig up evidence, but we'll see where it goes.
But Marvel is saying that all these people don't want to give any disclosure until the judge rules whether in a
Yeah.
way it makes sense,
Yeah.
because why disclose information if we don't know if this is going to go ahead? I get that.
Right.
But why is the judge taking so long?
Oh no. I mean, they've been going back and forth with like amending their complaints and filing updated, updates to their motions. So we'll see. I don't know when. I mean, the judge has to make a decision soon. I think, time's running out on all of their motions, but I don't think any of them, maybe the New York Times, but I don't think any of them are going to end up getting dismissed.
Munchie says Justin can't settle unless they release a statement saying they lied in order to clear his name. By the way, did the people who took away that award from him, remember he had an award and they took it
Mhm.
away from him? Have they given it back to him or said
No,
something about it?
no, they have not.
And the WME, have they said anything? Because they did remove the CEO, right?
He transitioned to a different role.
Okay, so he's still in transition. Okay. So he's
He's
still
now,
part
I
of
think he's now, I think, just a board member, which is more of like a figurative role rather than the CEO.
Oh, but I'm sure he has a lot of power behind the
Oh, for
scenes.
sure. Yeah.
I mean, this guy is a monster. I mean, not a monster. Have you been covering at all Diddy and Harvey Weinstein?
I haven't followed them recently. I know the Diddy stuff is starting to pick up again. And then the
Mm,
Weinstein stuff I'm actually interested in after, hearing about Candace's whole
yes.
series on Weinstein, and now I'm
He
just
has
kind
no
of
balls.
interested.
He has no balls. And the girl said she licked them, but he has no balls.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry it was graphic, but it's just something that is so
Yeah.
shocking to me to find that out. I didn't know that. So the girl lied. I was like, oh my God, how can you? Then she hasn't seen his junk.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, guys, let's thank Zach. And I want to see you guys when you rewatch this. Please, please, let's get Zach to three. Guys, it's like 97,000. He's 3,000 subs away from 100K. I have 3,000 of you. Go subscribe to Zach. Please, please, please. That's amazing. And if you're in Toronto on the 24th, please go. I will be there. I'm not with him in his tour, but I'm just going to be there to harass him and, be super screaming and shouting and everything. So, but he's going to be in so many cities. So please go because he's going to be in Dallas, Texas. That's a cool place. Phoenix, Philadelphia, Toronto, cool place. Brooklyn, Chicago, Seattle. I've been you know which movie I've been watching like crazy? 50 Shades of Grey. I don't know why. I've been watching it like crazy. Like I rewatch it the entire day, the three movies. I don't know what's wrong with me. Maybe I'm missing some love in my life. But anyways. But thank you, Zach, guys, and thank you for your time. And you have to come back. You have to come back,
Yes.
sweetie, because everybody loves you here. And guys, let's show him love. And all of those of you, go buy his tickets. I will leave the links for you to go buy the tickets. Look if it's coming near your city, buy
Yeah.
his merch, buy everything and subscribe. And I will be in Toronto for sure to see you, sweetie, with my girlfriends who are very loud old women. And then, so it's going to be so lovely to finally meet you in person, sweetie. So
I
thank you
can't
so
wait.
much. Yeah, it's going to be fun. And you're going to have a special guest, you said?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. And you don't plan to extend depending on how this goes, you plan to extend it or?
Maybe. I mean, depends on how well it goes. We'll see.
Oh my goodness. That would be great if you had like a place to do it like in a city in LA or something that you can host like a monthly thing,
That
where
would
you
be
can,
great.
right? That would be great. Oh, well, thank you anyways, guys. And thank you for watching. And thank you to Zach once again. And please go subscribe. And all of you have a great day, beautiful people. Bye.
Bye.